There is no doubt that this great palace could inspire storytellers, or that its architecture would inspire the Minoans' successors, the ancient Greeks. Myths of monsters, heroes, and gods were at the heart of Greek beliefs. The gods controlled human destiny, and for the Greeks, the desire to know what the gods held in store for them became an obsession. A remote hillside at Delphi was discovered to have special powers. Using the medium of a priestess, it was possible to channel these special powers and talk to the gods. These predictions and forecasts at Delphi were known as the Oracle. Greeks in their thousands would soon make the pilgrimage to this mysterious mountain refuge to discover their future. Predicting the future became big business. The Oracle created a huge source of revenue, and this remote hillside at Delphi became so important that Greek city-states had embassies and treasuries built here. Delphi was believed to be the center of the Greek world. It became an enormous architectural site. The Roman writer Pliny observed 3,000 monuments there. The most important was the great temple of Apollo. This was the center for the Oracle.
If you wanted to look into the future in the ancient world, if you had any kind of question about what was going to happen, there was only one place where you could be really sure that you would hear the voice of God, and that was Delphi.
In such a superstitious society, the Oracle was consulted on every issue. The sheer difficulty of reaching the Oracle served to enhance its mystique. But why site the complex 2,000 feet up a mountainside? The reason lies in a legend which records how a herd of goats was the first to experience Delphi's mystical power. Grazing on the hillside beneath Mount Parnassus, the goats were reported to have been overcome by sweet-smelling vapors. The story goes that the goats themselves began to speak. Their words were interpreted as prophecies, and the belief in the Oracle at Delphi was born. In Athens in the 6th century BC, a politician called Cleisthenes believed he could use the Oracle to his advantage. He needed to raise his political status, so he decided to build a temple at Delphi where the magical vapors appeared. He dedicated it to Apollo, the god who could predict the future. Building it was no easy feat. The site was 2,000 feet up and the ground steep. So the first task was to build a retaining wall of stone for a massive terrace 70 feet wide and 190 feet long. The columns were made from local limestone. To look good in the eyes of Apollo, Cleisthenes paid for a splendid facade to be built from imported marble. He believed the expense was worth it. He was anxious to win the Oracle onto his side, to help him win political support back in Athens. His gamble paid off. Legend recalls that Cleisthenes was blessed with good fortune, and his career was greatly advanced. At the temple, it became the practice for a woman, known as the Pythia, to reveal Apollo's prophecies. The male priests had their own reasons for this, for if a man was to have this power, he would become more powerful than the priests themselves. But women had no power at all, and the priests at the temple could control a lucrative industry.
Priests of Apollo were busy behind the scenes. A woman was chosen to speak because she could be manipulated at times of men's choosing.
Like theatre, the priests worked hard to stage manage the event. It was important that the clients felt that they'd been given an accurate prediction.
They kept the priestess behind a curtain to make it more mysterious. It was all quite theatrical, and you had a collective sense that this moment of great excitement, of revelation, was about to happen.
There have been many attempts to explain how the Pythia entered her trance-like state, from poisonous honey cakes to narcotic substances. But could a recent scientific investigation provide the answer? Experts exploring the geology of Delphi found two major fault lines in the hillside, and these lines in the rock meet directly beneath the room where the Pythia sat in the Temple of Apollo. Knowing toxic gases can emanate from fault lines, the scientists tested a stream that still flows near the temple. They found evidence in the water of ethylene, a sweet-smelling gas that can cause a trance-like state and even delirium. Whatever caused the Pythia's strange cries, it was the priests of Apollo who held all the true power.
They didn't tell you exactly what was going to happen. They gave you certain information that you could interpret yourself in pretty much whatever way you liked.
By becoming the supreme authority and the central point of the Greek world, the Oracle of Delphi remained influential for over 1,000 years, all the while answering the Greeks' desperate desire to know the future. To honor their gods, the ancient Greeks created wonders that forced them to make extraordinary technological discoveries. One such breakthrough was a theater built to honor the god Dionysius. It was the greatest theater in the Western world, with the most advanced acoustic design. Hidden in the hills at Epidaurus, about 100 miles from Athens, the 14,000-seat theater has dazzled audiences for 2,500 years. It is a feat of engineering. 55 rows of stone seats built into the hillside, with such precision that the theater has perfect acoustics.
This theatre at Epidaurus is quite simply the most special theatrical space in the Western world. It's the largest of all the surviving ancient theatres. It's the most beautiful. This is somewhere where the spirit of the god of drama, Dionysus, still lives on.
Surprisingly, the reason for siting the theatre in this remote place has its origin in medicine. Next to the theatre was a vast healing centre, and to the ancient Greeks, theatre was medicine. The god of medicine, Asclepios, and his magical snakes was said to work miracles. Medical cures and remedies were inscribed on stone tablets. Shrines were built to the cult of Asclepios, and the center developed into a wealthy healing sanctuary. People came from across the empire to cure every ailment and disability.
One mother was so desperate because her daughter was dying of dropsy that she came all the way from Sparta, and miraculously her daughter was cured.
In 360 BC, the money collected from patients was used to build a vast theatre. The architect, Polykleitos, had already built a roundhouse at the sanctuary, but now set about a far grander circular design. He chose a bowl-shaped site facing west so the rising sun would light up the landscape behind the stage. He dug out the round performance space before creating the huge seating area known as the gazing space. Thousands of limestone blocks cut from local quarries formed the seats. His design was for 32 rows, although 23 more were added 2 centuries later. Behind the actors was the scaena, the origin of the word scene, a 2-story stage building which was painted as a backdrop for the play. The scaena also enabled early special effects. When a play required a god to descend from the heavens, an actor was flown in on a hoist. The masked performers often played to audiences of up to 14,000 without the benefit of microphones. Polykleitos was able to create perfect acoustics. Even a coin being dropped at the center of the performance circle can be heard clearly in the back rows. The design of the theatre also enhances the sound of the human voice. The secret lies in how sounds are reflected by the stone itself, reducing the amount of distorting echo.